the HaLevavot. We're up to the third worldly benefit of bitachon. Okay? So the HaLevavot says, right, the person who real bitachon, it's inappropriate to travel to another place for income. Because if we have real bitachon, real zechut, pipeline is going to be next to you. The shefa is going to come to you. He says, the Midrash also says the same thing. However, but the Gemara Masechet B'Metzia, what does it say? Contradiction. If things are going badly for a person, what does the Gemara say? Meshaneh makom, meshaneh mazal. I thought you said if you have bitachon, it's supposed to come to you. So what does this mean, meshaneh makom, meshaneh mazal? Sounds like you have to go to a different place to get Parnassah. So what's the story over here? What's going on? So the Rashba addresses this question. What does the Rashba say? He says sometimes a person lacks income because Hashem decreed that he should be denied Parnassah because of his guno, because of his sins. And therefore, he has to go through a certain kaparah of not having enough Parnassah for this that he did sins. But what if I take upon myself a different kaparah? Right? What's the kaparah he has to take? Not having enough Parnassah for a couple months. But what am I going to do? I'll accept upon myself a different type of kaparah. I'll put myself exile. I'll make myself have to travel all the way to a different place. And that'll be my kaparah, suffering to travel there. So now, mishneh makom, mishneh mazal, what does that mean? That by me suffering to travel to a different place every day, that's my kaparah. And that way the Parnassah will come easy. But if I had real bitachon, when you don't have sins, your shefa is supposed to come to you like the man. You're not supposed to travel somewhere else to get it. So therefore, mishneh makom, mishneh mazal, says the Rashba, it's for someone who has a decree. But a regular person who doesn't have a decree, doesn't have sins, it's supposed to come to him. He's not supposed to mishneh makom, mishneh mazal. Fine. There's another question. The Tur and the Ramah quote Rabbeinu Tam, right? Is traveling for business considered traveling for mitzvah? Right? We know shluchei mitzvah and nizukin, right? The messengers who are sent to do a mitzvah, they don't get damaged. Let's say a guy goes on a business trip. Is he considered shliach mitzvah? Is he doing a mitzvah? What mitzvah is he doing? Rabbeinu Tam says yes, he's doing a mitzvah. What's the mitzvah? Supporting his family. He's traveling to support his family. Magen Avraham says, what about he already can pay the bills? But he's traveling to do extra business trip to make extra profit. He has had to pay everything this month. He wants to make an extra $10,000. So he says if he travels 2 days over there, business deal, he goes make some handshakes, sign some papers, he's going to make $10,000 extra income. Is also considered a mitzvah trip? If you think about it, the HaLevavot saying that if you're supposed to have bitachon, if you have bitachon, then really all this stuff is supposed to come to you here. You're not supposed to go all the way there. So is it a mitzvah or not? Says the commentaries that some explain the HaLevavot is talking about high level bitachon. But a person who doesn't have a high level bitachon, if he sees the opportunity come, then part of ishtadlut, he has to go. So that's what we have to realize also. If you have high level bitachon, this is the rule. According to the level of bitachon you have, that's the opposite is how much ishtadlut you have to do. You hear this? So when you have more bitachon, you have to do less ishtadlut. It's like yadayim yedei Esav ve'akol kol Yaakov. When there's a kol Yaakov, then there's no hands of Esav. When there's no kol Yaakov, so then there's hands of Esav. When you have bitachon, you don't have to do so much ishtadlut. But when you don't have bitachon, you gotta do more ishtadlut. You hear this? So who's the guy? Who's the guy who has to travel for his parnassah? Is the guy who doesn't have too much bitachon. So he has to do more ishtadlut. But a guy who has a lot of bitachon, he will live 5-minute walk from his parnassah. He'll walk to work. Or even high level bitachon, even higher, he'll go to his mailbox, open the mailbox, there'll be checks in the mail. Checks in the mail. Why? Parnassah will come to your door like the man. If you have a real bitachon, less and less ishtadlut. Right? The rabbis in the Gemara, what do? They say Hashem, their wife, you tell them, we have no money for Shabbat. They opened the door, they found a diamond on the floor, they flipped it, and that's it, they made the money. They walked 2 minutes outside. And then they found the diamond and they flipped it and they made Parnassah enough for 2-3 months. Why? Bitachon. Okay. Says the HaLevavot, ומהן מנוחת הנפש והגוף מן המעשים הקשים, מלאכות מגיעות כגופות, ועוזב עבודות מלכים, חוקיהם, חמוס אנשיהם. You hear? There's some people who believe that there's only certain industries that make money. You know, each type of people from a different country, they believe, like, you know, some people believe only gas stations make money. Some people believe only taxi driver makes money. Some people believe Bitcoin makes money. Some people believe only jewelry makes money. You know, some people will say barber is the best, occupation. Each person believes only this industry will make Parnassah, right? There's some people who say construction worker is the best, real estate is the best, you know? But a person who has bitachon, what does he say? He says, Hashem is going to give me any way possible. So what am I looking for? What I'm looking for is a job that lets me be healthy, doesn't put me in danger to my health, doesn't take too many hours. And I also want a job that lets me pray minha, shahrit, lets me learn morning, lets me learn evening. Because anyways, whatever I do, Hashem has to give me if I do ishtadlut. So better choose a job that lets my spirituality grow. But the guy who doesn't have bitachon, what does he say? The guy who has bitachon, doesn't have bitachon, he says, no, only this field makes money. I have to break myself. I have to mold myself to fit this schedule. And min harvit, the learning, you know, people tell me, Rabbi, I gotta open the store 8 o'clock in the morning. I gotta be there 8 o'clock in the morning. I can't come to Shachrit. I can't stay for the learning. What should I do? This is my job. I said, so why don't you have a job that you starts later? And that's not gonna make money, Rabbi. This is what makes money. I have to be here. I have to only do this way, like this. So that guy doesn't have bitachon so much. If he had bitachon, he would realize any which way you do ishtadlut, there's people who work weird hours and they make Parnassah. There's people who work, they open the store 11 to 2. 11 to 2 and they make all the Parnassah, all the everybody. The customers know, you want to see this guy, you got to see him 11 to 2. That's it. You're going to come, you're going to wait for him, you're going to buy from him, and that's it. And he makes his Parnassah. But because we have a small box, we're very close-minded, we don't have bitachon and open-minded with Hashem, so we think only this way makes sense. Therefore I have to break myself, lose the minha, lose the shahrit, lose the learning, and malah. So what can we do? This is the job, you got to do the job. You got to do what the money says. Because they don't have enough bitachon. But a guy who's bitachon, תובע מסיבות הטרף מה שיש ביותר מנוחה לגופו, פנאי לליבו, ושם טוב לו. He chooses an income that's easiest for his body, gives him good reputation, gives him ability to learn, to pray. So when a guy's growing up, what do you tell him? You got to be doctor, you got to be lawyer, you got to be, this and this job. Why? Because this gives you kavod. Because you're going to make babki. You're going to make a lot of money. What about learning? What about getting married? What about, your health? You're not going to sleep. You're not going to sleep anything when you're doing this job. You're going to be very stressed out. This will shave off years from your life. No. It is what it is. You got to do it because everybody does. You got to do it because kavod. You got to do it because how are you going to make money? It's the only way to make money. It's not true. This is a falsehood. This is a sheker that the goyim sold you. You have to know if you have bitachon, you can do anything. Look at these chassidim. Look at the chassidim. What, they go to college? And we work for them. And they're giving tzedakah left and right. They're building huge communities. How? They didn't go to college. And everybody swears by college. No, college is the only way you can make Parnassah today. They're flipping also diamonds. They're also in real estate. They learn to be HVAC. They make their own HVAC company. They hire employees. They runs by itself. And what? A big thing over there also is the Hasidim say, I hire this guy who's new, doesn't have so much experience. Because he's a fellow Jew, I'll hire him and not hire somebody else. I want to support my guy from my community. That's a big thing. And but what if the project doesn't, what if he doesn't do a good job? I'm doing mitzvah, why should I be nervous? It's mazal bracha in this, by supporting another Jew. You see how much bitachon they have? And now we know why they're so successful. Baruch Olam, amen.